With Love to the World is a devotional journal published by and for the Uniting Church in Australia. The editor of With Love to the World invited me to submit a photo of an icon for the cover of the Pentecost edition for 2021. So this is a video account of writing a Pentecost icon. One of my icons appeared on the cover for the 2014 Pentecost edition, so I didn't want to publish a repeat of that. And I decided I didn't want to paint a traditional Pentecost icon with the 12 apostles sitting in a horseshoe with flames of fire alighting on each head. In conversation with the editor, we've decided that an icon of St. Peter preaching on the day of Pentecost would be good, and that some key phrases of the sermon would be featured. I also got to be thinking about symbols for Pentecost, and also different well-known symbols for St. Peter that might be included. So I looked for a model. Now, there are plenty of icons of St. Peter, but I couldn't find what I wanted. I did find an icon of St. Paul on a website of Aidan Hart's. Aidan hadn't written this icon. It is the work of one of his students, I think, Sister Petra Clare. I can see Aidan's influence in the icon. I liked the full length, the posture, the scroll for the text, and the folds of the garments. The trouble with the icon of Paul is that the face is very, well, typical of Paul. Dark hair, high forehead, pointed beard. Anyone familiar with iconography will not be fooled by an inscription that says St. Peter, and they know perfectly well it's St. Paul. Icons of Peter usually feature grey curly hair and beard, like this one by Aidan Hart. So let's see if I can get away with putting Peter's head on Paul's body. Well, meanwhile, I cut a panel from marine ply, 420 by 300 millimetres, with a frame of 30 millimetres, and prepared with gesso of rabbit skin glue and whiting, many coats, and then sanded to a smooth finish. Then I sketched my design, and this included a miniature to check how the composition will work. So let's look at chapter 1 of painting an icon of St. Peter preaching at Pentecost. We start by finding the centre point, and I've used a piece of A4 paper which is 30 mil long rather, and simply folded it in half, because this panel is 300 mil wide, so folded in half, that works really well. And the total height of the figure will be 300 mil high, and a normal figure is 8 head heights. So I folded the piece of paper 4 times, and that has given me the 8 head heights. And now I'm just checking the level of the chest and 2 head heights across the chest to get the width of the arms, and just getting the rough axis of the hips and the shoulders. And having done the pencil stuff, I'm about to do the paint stuff. Time to get some protection. A trusty apron. Now I've mixed yellow ochre and water, and using a fairly rough and large size brush, we're just going to get the general shapes onto the panel and have a look and see if it works. I've sped this up somewhat. It's 4 times normal speed. Checking the center of the head, getting where the eyes go in, the nose. So the head is 4 nose lengths. Now I was to discover that I'd put that arm too low. But this is all correctable. The sleeve of the outer garment, find where the feet will go. The saint's right foot, he's got his weight on that leg, and the other leg is slightly bent. So the heel of the foot with the weight on it needs to be in the center, because that's what we do when we put weight on one leg. Just checking those arms to make sure the lengths are okay. I've siphoned off some of the water in that mix of yellow ochre and added egg instead. And now with a Kolinsky brush, with the egg it's a bit more defined, but still it's a number 4 brush, so it's still quite big. We're not doing fine tuning or anything like that, just getting the general look of the face in place, where the hairline will go. Now I'm checking a photo copy of the image of Sister Petra's image of Paul, in order to, because I like the folds that she has done, I want to get those folds to look similar to hers. Later on, when I sat back to look at this, on the tunic on the saint's right side was too fat. Not by much, but I did need to come back and sand that away. Get that scroll in place and the hand that will support the scroll, the right arm. Out with the sandpaper. Just bring that tunic and outer garment in a little bit. Also correct the direction of the leg. I'm going to have a broken ankle if I had persisted with the left foot in the direction it was going. I've added a tiny bit of black because we want a bit more definition, just to fine tune even further. Still using the 4 brush, but very dried off, so it's really quite controlled. Now I'm not happy with the scroll. It's too angular, too straight, too boring. I want it to be a bit more curvy. Now using a Kolinsky number 3 brush. That's a bit fat, so bring it in a bit, and a bit of water and a bit of toweling to clean off the... It's still not quite right, but anyway, we'll come back to that. Now I'm working with the yellow ochre with a little bit of Mars black in it with egg tempera, and working on the shading, getting some of the beard impression in there. It's going to be a very light beard, but just for now it'll be darkened up. Work out where my source of light is so that I get the dark side of the neck in place. And basically what I'm doing now is putting some shading in the underside of any folds. So highlight will be on those bits of garment that come out. I'm changing this hand because in the original it was actually sort of holding on to the scroll. I think I want it in a gesture of indicating a look at this kind of gesture in the hand. Now these folds can be corrected later on, and possibly when the highlighting is being done, adjustments will need to be made. Because of the angle of this camera, it doesn't look really terrific at the moment, but I'll show a head-on shot, a straight shot at the end to indicate that it doesn't look as bad in reality as it does from this angle and in this perspective. There it is. That's better. There. That's enough for now. next time we will start blocking in some colours. So look forward to seeing you then.